What you are about to see is a portion of what those who belong to our members-only channel have already seen. If you were enrolled in the members-only YouTube channel, you would have already seen this teaching. But I'm bringing it to you today to encourage you to enroll in the members-only channel and also to provide you some valuable information. What I'm about to share that was recorded exclusively for the commanders and the sword bearers and the soldiers of our members-only channel is vital information about the breaking of curses. It's so important, and that's why I share it with you. My book, Curse Breaking, goes into great detail about something that we call the basics of curse breaking, which is the topic of what you are about to see. It's based on the premise that Christians can be cursed. Now, I know that's difficult for many people in America, in Canada, North America, and this part of the world to accept, but the idea of Christians being cursed is well accepted in most parts of the world. They recognize it's a reality. But in North America, and particularly the Western world, this is a little bit hard to grasp. A lot of them look to Galatians chapter 3. Cursed is he who hangs on a tree. Christ has taken the curses for us. That's absolutely true. He took the curses at the cross. However, there's a difference between conditional reality and positional faith. You see, the position is, biblically, yes, Christ did take our curses on the cross, but you must possess the promise. It's the same with salvation. So understanding the basic of curse breaking is very important for you, even as a believer. What you are about to witness is something that is crucial to understanding how evil of the past can operate in the present, how your behavior now can reach back into the distant past to evil curses of those forebears who came before you, connect and bring troubling situations, even desperate trauma in your life. So these are all the reasons that I'm bringing this special teaching, which was originally intended exclusively for our members-only folks. Now watch as I walk you through the basics of curse breaking. Welcome to the seventh in a series of teachings on the subject of curse breaking. This is the first part of a two-part series on the basics of breaking curses. Before we get into that, let's lay some groundwork about the requirements for someone who's going to pray to break curses. First of all, that individual should have a Christian confession, because it's through the power and authority in the name of Jesus Christ that all curses are broken. Secondly, if you're going to break curses and make declarations, you should believe what you're saying. Romans 10:9 and 10 says, if you confess with your mouth Jesus Christ and believe in your heart that God has raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For you confess with the mouth and you believe in the heart. That's another requirement. And finally, there are certain racial, ethnic, and cultural backgrounds that may require very specific kinds of curse breaking. This information is described in our book on curse breaking and in our Advanced Academy of Deliverance. To understand the basics, let's talk about the difference between what I refer to as an implicit or an explicit curse. These are the two perspectives. Implicit or unintentional curses are described as statements an individual may make, not wanting to curse someone, but inherently what they say and the attitude with which they say it it becomes a curse. On the other hand, an explicit or intentional curse is invoked specifically to bring evil on a person, a group of persons, or some human agency or institution. In this particular case, someone does something to declare the curse. So there are implicit curses, unintentional, which might be ill words spoken without thought, but carrying the effect of a curse, or explicit curses deliberately designed to bring harm. Now let me get a little more technical about implicit and unintentional curses. I want to give you a definition of an implicit curse. The inexorable, the relentless, immutable, absolutely incapable of change, consequences of conduct and communication inherited transgenerationally, continuing until altered by spiritual intervention. Now let me tell you what I mean by conduct and communication. I mean ordinary behavior. It seems to be an ordinary interaction between people. It's not behavior that transgresses any moral or civil law. It's not going to bring any obvious damage. If someone goes to a witch doctor and he puts a needle in a voodoo doll, that's an intentional act. That would be an explicit curse. But if the same person is exasperated with a family member or an associate and they explode and they say, "Well, you crazy idiot, nobody's ever going to trust you again," that could release an implicit curse. It could interfere with that individual's life for a very long time. Explicit curses can be easier to spot because they originate from a deliberate, intentional act. Now let me give you a definition of an explicit curse. The malediction of evil invoked by ritual, ceremony, or incantation with directive intent to bring evil, misfortune, harm, or injury to individuals, families, institutions, or legacies. For example, if a curse originated a long time ago, or if the person considers the source to be innocuous or safe, explicit curses can be just as hard to discern as implicit ones. They have to be taken very seriously. The key difference with an explicit curse, it's purposeful. It often occurs in the context of a religious observance, and it's motivated by malice toward a perceived enemy. One of the most important basic facts about curses is that a curse must have a cause. We call this the causeless curse shall not alight. People aren't at the mercy of random curses, but the devil wants to activate a curse in your bloodline. Words have power. The words of a curse. But the principle of cause and effect prevails. Here's what the Amplified Bible says in Proverbs 26:2. Like the sparrow in her wandering, like the swallow in her flying, so the causeless curse does not alight. That's what we mean by a causeless curse. So the intended victim of that kind of curse is not going to be harmed by an unmerited curse. It's like a bird flying through the sky. It's looking for a place to land and make a nest. The causeless curse doesn't land. It's flying through the air. It's flitting about. But it can't bring about the intended evil. Now, that doesn't mean, as some Christians think, that believers are immune to all curses, because they are not, and we will cover that at another time. It just means that the devil can only activate curses based on true causes. Maledictions cannot just land on people because they're hated by somebody. As unfair as it might seem, some curse causes are beyond our control because they originated with our ancestors or a member of some group that we belong to. Let me make it plain how this works. Satan looks for a cause. Each one of us, if you trace back our ancestries far enough, there's a lot of evil back there. Murder, violence, perversion, all kinds of transgressions of criminality and bloodshed. So in a sense, we're all cursed by what our distant ancestors have done to spiritually dilute the genetic identity that we inherit. However, that doesn't mean all of us have active curses operating in us. Well, what is the difference then? Well, some of us had our parents break curses in the beginning. In liturgical churches, that can be done by baptism if done properly. Some parents, as Christians, may know to pray over a prenatal child or a newborn infant to break the curses and cancel them. Or they may just cancel all generational curses even before a child is conceived. But if that's not done, remember, those curses are like a bird flying in the air. What the devil wants to do is this: take the ancient evil and connect it to something in the present. He wants to activate all the curses of the past, or as many as possible, by what? Finding something in the present that will give that curse power. Satan may try to pin that curse on some current event or circumstance, if he can find it. He finds sometimes a cause in a previous generation, and he brings that curse to life with some present-day action. He wants to take every curse in all of our bloodlines and set them in motion. He wants disease, death, and destruction to strike the human community. So make sure, as you break curses, such as reading through our book on curse breaking, which has 25 pages of detailed curse breaking prayers at the end of the book, be sure that you are a Christian, that you are making that confession in faith, and that you are deliberately, by receiving it into your heart as an article of faith, declaring that curse to be broken. And when you do that, whether the curses are implicit or explicit, they will be canceled by the blood of Christ and the power that's in the name of Jesus.
Your financial support and prayers make it possible for us to bring hope for the hurting and freedom to those in spiritual bondage. For the latest information regarding ministry outreaches, go to boblarson.org or call 303-980-1511.